time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. The show proudly presented to you by Bet365. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Yorkie, just like us, it's never ordinary. This show, I'm worried it might be in complete chaos. I know of Shawn McEachern coming on, but you said there's a surprise guest or guests, and I don't know what's happening.
We've got we've got a surprise guest coming on at 4:15. You'll have to wait and see who that's going to be. And then our guests that we were going to have on tomorrow, we're now going to bring on today because it's going to be great with him and Shawn McEachern on together. It is going to turn into total chaos. There's going to be some good stories. He's a former player that played for the Sens. I actually played with this guy in the minors. I played them in junior and I played them in the Sens. So I have a long history. Again, he has the best laugh in hockey, and he's also related to somebody.
Listen, if Shawn McEachern's listening, I don't want him to know who it is.
Okay.
Stop.
Gotcha. Okay.
Stop talking. Well,
Carry on.
We're also giving away a bobblehead today and 2 tickets plus parking for tonight's game, which they're separate. They're not together. We'll give you the contest in a sec. Mike, if he's a Tesla Canadian Dad, I think is his Twitter handle. He has offered them up. So thank you to him. All right,
Mike.
However, Yorkie, before we get to that stuff, there is some concern with the Ottawa Senators.
Really? What's going on? What's
major concern?
All I know is there's a massive uptick in the purchase of therapy dogs around town the last couple of days. Charlie's like, what's going on here? Dogs are flying out of the stores. There, people are patting their dogs. Oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. What's going on? I thought it was going to be different. Oh boy. Oh,
there's a lot of unhappiness and uneasiness around the Ottawa Senator fan base. Yeah. I get it. Listen. They're mired, and we'll call it a 5-game losing streak, 0-4-1. And nothing seems to look right. It's a different group. Well, I will say, listen, you can't pin Travis Green for all the stuff that's happened before this year, and you can't pin everything on Steve Staios for what possibly has happened before. So it is different. The team plays different, but the results are ugly, and they're still kind of the same. Here's my one problem I have, Yorkie, and you can help me out. You're a player. I know players hate being questioned about their commitment, but this team doesn't show a whole lot of passion, commitment, fight, if you will. Not fist fights, just fight until the third period when they're down by 3 goals.
Yeah, it seems like if they could just figure out a way how to play like that from the beginning. And I'll say this, at the beginning of the season, I felt differently. I felt that this team had changed. I was seeing something different. I had a different feel. And I was watching them play. They were now I like the Philadelphia game, so we'll throw that one out. I actually didn't mind, there were times in the Vegas game, but they're just, I listened really closely to what Travis Green said after the game and today. He's pissed off at a lot of guys, and you heard him say the one thing: we're gifting them goals. What that means is they're way too easy to play against right now. And I watched them play, and if you go back, and I watched that Vancouver game pretty closely. I actually taped it and watched it again the next day. Ottawa, it looks good. You got puck possession. You look at some of the fancy stats, it appeared that Ottawa played a decent game, but if you really watch what's going on, one team is getting to the inside and one team is on the outside. And the team that was on the inside was Vancouver, and that's why they won. And those gifted goals were getting to the front of the net, winning a battle for a puck. Just Ottawa just making those plays on a penalty kill. Clearing the puck on a penalty kill should be a given for an NHL player. And when you don't do that, usually a bad thing's going to happen because teams are too good. So, at least if you don't want to talk about the gift, that was the penalty kill. I think it was Shabbat, didn't get the puck out. And there was an earlier sequence in the game as well when the same thing happened, and they were really lucky they didn't get scored on. So to me now they're making it too easy at critical times in the game for the team, especially early on. Like the league is so tough. You can't put yourself behind the 8 ball every single game, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose 5 in a row. That's what happens. So
they just don't, and I don't know, Yorkie. They don't see the fight to get to the net, to get their nose dirty, to win one-on-one battles, all that little stuff. I just don't.
So if you saw Tkachuk's goal on the power play, he's inside position. I love that setup for their power play. And when Tkachuk's your net front guy all the time, I went back and I watched a couple other games. Tkachuk was over in the one-timer position. I forget what game. It was the game you and I were at. Remember? We're sitting up in the stands. We're like, why is Brady over in the one-time position and Josh Norris in front of the net? Like sometimes the power play gets mixed up depending on how you get possession of the puck, and sometimes, but then the next power play, the same thing happens. So I wasn't really sure why that was happening, because this team to me is, like you said, it's pretty plain as day. They need to get inside offensively and especially defensively, Wally. That's where they're losing these games. You go back, first goal of the game, I think it was the DeBrusque tip. It was on the power play, but still he's all alone. Like Allmark's got really tough. How are you going to stop that? It's off the ice and it's tipped. And then the other one on the Shabbat turnover, they get inside position as well. And the other two ones, they were tough plays for Tyler Kleven. You can see, we talked about this last week, Wally. Kleven's starting to, like, the league's tough. It's tough. So I'm not surprised by what's happening with him right now. You're going to have a little bit of a downturn, and then you're going to come back from it. That's just how it goes in your first year. So, but now Zub's out, so you have
for a while.
And now you've got the D pairing thrown in a blender. But the reason the D pairings are split like they are right now, I know exactly why they're doing it, because it's too easy to play against the way they are. They're way too easy to play against. So they're trying to put in each pairing someone that's going to be tough to play against. So if you look at that first pairing, Hamannik's going to have to be the guy. That's the guy you want, like being mean, being tough. Second pairing, Bernard Docker is going to have to do that. And third pairing, that's Kleven's job. So you got puck mover and banger in each pairing. Because why? They've been way too easy to play against on the back end the last little while.
By the way, if you haven't heard, Artem Zub out for a significant time. No time frame put up by Travis Green today, just saying he's got a fractured foot. We showed it yesterday on our Twitter account of the shot he blocked. I saw him leave the rink, and he could barely put any weight.
You were on it, eh? You told me that yesterday. You said you have a feeling Zub's going to miss.
And so, yeah, he didn't want to walk.
He didn't look right in the game. So I'm watching Zub and I'm like, okay, something's up, because he looked a step slow. He looked hesitant. Didn't look like the same guy that I'm used to watching. So I'm not surprised that something was up with him.
So we'll see how that impacts this group. Now, you're wondering, so that, by the way, Cole Reinhardt has been called up. I'm assuming he's playing tonight, although I'm not 100% sure. Zach Ostapchuk's in the lineup. Zach McEwen has cleared waivers and is headed to Binghamton. That's how old I am. He's headed to Belleville. So we'll see how that. If you're Steve Stais, are you now de-hunting?
Well, I think you're always de-hunting in this league. We talked about this from day one. This group, to me, has been one defenseman short to what you really need. But it's the same. If you look around the rosters of the entire NHL, you could say the same thing for most teams. Every team would love to have another good, solid defenseman. If I'm Ottawa, and you look at, for example, look at Vancouver, look at their back end. And obviously Tyler Myers is a freak. He's 6'8". There's not a lot of 6'8" guys in the league, but Susie there, whatever his name, he's a big guy. Like, they make it tough on you in their own zone. And that's something I've felt kind of been missing with the Ottawa blue line since day one. Everybody was wondering, why is Hamannik in the lineup? Why is Hamannik playing? Well, of all their guys, who's the meanest guy back there? When you think about it, who's the guy that's going to get his nose dirty the most?
Travis Hamannik.
That's him. So that's why he plays. Like, it's like, what everybody's, why is Hamannik playing? Well, because the group as from 1 to 6 needs to be meaner. But it is what it is. It's you can't just make somebody mean. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
Like certain players, like Thomas Chabot has a great skill set. Sanderson has a great skill set. Jensen is a great skating defenseman. Good he's probably been their best all around D, because we have Sanderson, but out of what everybody was expecting to get Jensen, right? He's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you go through the entire group, they got to be tougher to play.
I told you they've been lacking a punch in the mouth kind of defenseman for 3 years. I'm not getting off this soapbox.
Stop it with the punch in the mouth isn't going to help you. It's body position in front of the net, getting inside position, making hard plays, being tougher to play against.
My point. I just mean mean.
Yeah.
There's just no mean.
It's like I said, if every single team, the league has changed in the last little while. Remember we had Luke Richardson on the pod in the summer. Yeah. He goes, "What are you looking in your back end?" He goes, "Long, mean, and can skate." Yeah. Everybody, and those guys are just really hard to find. They're really tough to find.
If Calgary could just leave Mackenzie Weegar here as they depart later, that would be fantastic.
But then again, if you got to be careful which guys you bring in too. Like look at the Boston Bruins. Like they bring in what's his name there from Vancouver, who's 6'7". What's the big defenseman's name there? Played in Calgary.
Yeah,
the year before.
It's
It is Zadorov. The Zadorov.
Yeah.
They paid Zadorov a ton of money, but he's not a great player. So it's like you got to be careful which big guys you bring in.
All right, we'll see.
And that's not the only issue with the Ottawa Senators right now, Wally. Like, sure, they could be meaner on the back end. They could also use some more timely saves, and we haven't even talked about secondary scoring yet. Why do you think Jake? Why do you think that's going up to the first line? If you look at the scoring chart for the Ottawa Senators, they need secondary scoring. There's been injuries. Obviously, Pinto's come back, but they need some guys in the bottom 6 or even the bottom 9 to start producing. They really do.
They have 27 goals on that top line, which is just like 3 of their top 5 or 3 of their top 6 goal scorers or whatever are on that top line. If you look at the Amadio, Perron, and Pinto, like they have combined for 3 goals. Like that's crazy when we thought that would be a really good third line that would add.
So to the defense of the third line, Pinto was out for an extended period of time. The only guy that was
out.
David had family issues, big time family issues, so that he was going through a lot. So I'm giving a guy like that the benefit of the doubt. It's going to take him a while to get his feet under him and get back. And it's just there's so much pressure now. You get back in the lineup, he knows. Like when we had him on last week, he knows he needs to score. He talks about it, and you can see when he misses, and there's opportunities. Guys are squeezing it right now, Wally. This group of forwards are squeezing it. They're feeling the pressure, and tonight against Calgary, they need a win like it's nobody's business. You think the fans are pissed off right now? You think just think if you're a fan right now, how mad and how frustrated you are. Times that by 2 with the players on that team. I'm telling you, you don't see it, but these guys are a frustrated group right now, and this is a massive, massive game. Because if they lose this one tonight, oh boy, I don't even know what's going to happen.
And Anton Forsberg will get the start in goal. This is to wrap up a 4-game homestand. It's interesting because no one's happy during a losing streak, right? Everybody's angry at everybody because they just want to win. There is a lot of chatter about Brady Tkachuk. And I saw some tweets today and people messaging me saying it's just media driven. It's not. Well, if you were to check out the Twitter machine, you would see it's not media driven. Travis Green very passionately defended his captain today. Here now is just a part of what he said.
I'd much rather have a guy that plays extremely hard and teach him when to do it, when not to do it. I think people forget this guy's a young guy still. And my God, like to go after a guy because he's emotional and he wants to win? Like, really? Like, we want all our players to be emotional and want to win. So to challenge a guy like that I'm probably being light I think it's crazy. Like, because there's a lot of people, no one's perfect. And is he going to make the odd mistake that might cost us the goal? Yes, he is. But I'd rather a guy make a mistake being emotional and playing with his passion and his heart than to sit and be meek and make mistakes that way. So it's not fair.
You can just tell he would
Well,
like to have used a few profane words.
Oh, I'll tell you what, like people around here know what Brady Tkachuk's all about. A lot of people are frustrated now, but I always find it interesting because you ask the question, right? What do people that aren't here in the Ottawa market, that aren't living and breathing the Ottawa Senators, what do they think? And that's why I want to bring on our next guest, amongst other reasons, because he is also, Wally, and we're going to get into this later, he is also the president of the Good Guys Network. This is a man.
I had no idea.
This is a man. And this is where it all began. It started as the Good Guys Network. The Ottawa chapter is actually the Good Guys Club. But Ryan and I were supposed to meet with you last night at the Cheshire Cat. God damn it, you didn't show.
So,
anyways, let's bring Ryan on right now. Let's bring him on.
If I'd have known, Ryan, listen, if I'd have only known when I saw you today that you were the president of the club, I would have taken you out for lunch today. I would have carried your microphone for you.
Wally, your membership has been denied another year.
Oh, no.
So the way the Good Guy Network works, we started this in high school back in Owen Sound with founding member Gord Dickey, former Belleville Bull, Owen Sound Plater, and Kitchener Ranger. We started this before the internet, before social media. We needed a network for just good guys. You come to town, you take that, he's a good guy. That's Yorkie. Oh, he's a great guy. He's a good guy. Take him out, make him feel at home, set him up with whatever he and his family or his buddies need. If you're a card-carrying member, we've got you. Last night, I roll into town. Yorkie picks me up in a luxurious automobile, fantastic playlist, takes me to the heartbeat of Canada, the Cheshire Cat. You're nowhere to be found. What league is this?
I have an excuse.
Good guys don't make excuses. Good
Yeah,
guys
no, it's
just
fair.
arrive.
So on
Look at this. Look at this. So
on Sundays,
Time
my daughter comes home. I don't. She lives off campus. She's going to university. She comes home Sunday nights. We have dinner together, and then I take her back and drop her off. And so I wasn't aware that there was a Good Guys Club meeting. I would have made arrangements.
Well, for people that don't know, Ryan Leslie,
I'm
voice of the Calgary Flames. He just texted me yesterday. He's like, "I'm coming to town. Can we meet up?" And I'm like, "Can we? Oh, we will for sure." That's
Yorkie
how we
drops
do.
Everything. Yeah,
that's how we do it. I had my daughter over. I spent a little time because you got to balance. I had the family over, I had my granddaughter over. I said, I got to go. I got some important business we've got to discuss. And then I actually sent Wally a message and I said, come to the Cheshire Cat tonight. He's been belly aching forever that he's never invited. So I said, come to the Cheshire Cat for a beer. My good friend, Ryan Leslie. I didn't tell you on purpose that Mr. Leslie is the president of the club, but now you know.
Man.
We'll see. We'll see next year's application. Anyhow, it's great to be with you boys. Big first time, long time. This is great. I love that you guys have this show, and thrilled to be a part of it. Looking forward to this tilt tonight. Actually,
let me ask you this. So we were, you know what's going on. You were down at the pregame skate today. Brady Tkachuk's taking a lot of heat. I know you are very close friends with the Tkachuk family. You're personal friends with Big Walt. You covered Matthew in Calgary. You've hung out with Brady. From the outside looking in, Brady Tkachuk, what do people think?
I'm with your coach, to be honest with you. I mean, what you wouldn't do to have that passion running up and down your lineup. And I just think that's a throwback. I don't want to hear about this. Is he, too emotional or too passionate? That's nonsense. Like, this is still the National Hockey League, and you need that. And I just hope it runs, that's infectious. I know at times it has been. I know not everybody's wired that way, but my God, I can't believe there's any criticism. Every team in the league would love to have him. This isn't a shot at Ottawa media. This isn't a shot at fan base. Just embrace this, because especially when you're losing, I'm glad that there's no mailing it in. I'm glad that he still throws bombs. I'm glad that, you know, he's as good as he is with the media and passionate afterwards. And, you know, knowing that family the way I do, man, he is just wired the right way. And any team and any fan base would dearly love to have him. And I know Sens fans do love to have him, regardless of Twitter, or that's just a, you know, bathroom stall to write stupid things on, really. But that, I know that they love their captain, and I know he loves playing here. That's what matters most.
The only thing I will say is I wish that would be at the start of the game, Mike, just like the rest of this team. I just don't find that they play hard enough until the game is out of control or it's in the third and they're trying to find a way.
But you
just
can't
wanna see
manufacture that, right, boys? You can't, like, you want to start on time. I get that. But you can't just manufacture, I'm going to go up and beat the wheels off somebody. Something has to lead to it sometimes. And I'm with you, though, like late in the third, it's a little late. But that's when sometimes things boil over, and it does send a message. We showed a fight the other night between Corey Sarge, one of my panelists on the broadcast, and Bill Guerin, back when they were both players. I've been fired up ever since. Like, there is carryover, and I think it's great. Maybe I'm still old school. I love it. I know what it does for a bench. I know what it does for a viewer and a fan base. I know that is something that even when they're losing, we're talking about Brady Tkachuk, you know, going off, and I love it. And I had Matthew in Calgary for a number of years, and you know, there was lots that he did that would get under the skin and tick off people, and sometimes back early, even tick off teammates. But that guy is, you know, those two brothers are wired the right way for my money.
Mm-hmm. You know what? We were talking about this last night. We were sitting in the cat talking about the Sens, talking about the Calgary Flames. I'm going to ask you about Calgary in a minute, and because nobody thought they would be where they are, Ryan. Like, it's nuts what's going on. It's been crazy. Probably the most surprising team in the National Hockey League. But last night we thought, for a moment in time, you and I were sitting at the cat, and Ryan's like, I said, yeah, I don't think Wally's coming. He goes, you know what would be a boss move? He goes, imagine if Wally called the cat and said, you know what, there's two gentlemen there at the bar. Can you just get them a drink? This is Brent Wallace here. And all of a sudden a round comes over. That probably would have went a long way to getting you into the good guy club.
Yeah, I would agree. There's just moves, even when you can't be present, that say, hey, I'm with you. You're with the network now. You're with the good guy network.
Is there like a set of rules? Is there bylaws or rules or anything I can perhaps read?
You just got to think like a good guy, Wally. Either you're wired that way or you're not. I'll tell you a fun little story. We were in Montreal. Yorkie, okay if I tell the story?
I love this story. This is a boss move right here.
We have a new play-by-play guy this year by the name of John Abbott. Very familiar to your market here in Ottawa. What a gentleman. What a great guy. Not a card-carrying member just yet. But we were out for dinner in Montreal. He and I wanted to have some time one-on-one to shoot the breeze and see how it's all going. And I had been in conversation with Mr. Treliving, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, just about a couple of hockey-related things. He had, in that conversation, found out that we were going to Moishes, nice restaurant in Montreal, and it was wonderful. Well, sure enough, wouldn't you know it, nice bottle of wine was sent over from Mr. Treliving to our table as a welcome, you know, his former market in Calgary, and for John Abbott as well. And I'll tell you, he wasn't there in person, Wally, but his presence was felt. A nice bottle from the GM of the Leafs while we're in Montreal. What a gift. I'm not saying that you got to go to that extent, but just show a little effort, Brent.
Listen, next time you're in town, I'm going to pick up the waters. There's no question. I got it.
All right. The question I want to ask you, this is, let's go. Well, you know what, we've beaten on Wally enough here. You can only kick the dog so much here. All right. What is going on? What is going on? What's going on with the Calgary Flames? Because this is what Ottawa people want to know. What's the secret to turning it around? Like, why is this team all of a sudden a good hockey team?
I think everybody wants to know, but I'm going to break it down. I think it's really a fascinating story. Now, hey, it's still November, so we're pretty cautious in Calgary. We know it doesn't always translate into, long-term success, but I will say this. They have had really good goaltending, which has been a real pleasant surprise. Dan Vladar and Dustin Wolf. When you say goodbye to Jacob Markstrom and you have two, not necessarily unproven, but certainly not haven't been number ones in their career. Dustin Wolf has done everything prior to the NHL to get here, but he needed to kind of get up to the speed, and it looks as though he's starting to figure it out. And Dan Vladar, is battling. The two of them have been spectacular, guys. I got to say it. So that's been a pleasant surprise that has really led to the fact that they're winning. They haven't had a ton of offense. They haven't had great first periods. But the other two factors, in addition to good goaltending, have been they don't go away. They hang around in close games, muck it up a little bit. There's been excitement. There's been tight-knit games. And they feel comfortable going into the third, either down one or just kind of keeping it close. But you got to give a lot of credit to Ryan Huska. Now, this might not be a household name in coaching circles to the average fan, but this guy has them playing a structure and in a way that really fits with the character of this team that Craig Conroy has gone out and reshaped after saying goodbye to so many free agents a year ago and at the end of last season. He's got people who want to be here in Calgary. He's got people who, are at various points in their career where they're either battling for jobs, trying to prove themselves, or trying to take that next step into, success, whatever it is. And they've also got a room with some guys with some Stanley Cup pedigree. So it's really this neat mix of character, structure, good goaltending. They dearly love to find some more offense. Don't get me wrong. And they dearly love to start the first period like a house on fire. They did against the Rangers. That was good. They were happy with what they had against Minnesota on Saturday. But overall, it's really been a surprise that nobody, including myself, saw like this. Now, they started out great. Okay. Then they kind of came back down to earth. Yeah, all right, that's maybe a little bit more what people thought. And then they've just built it right back up again. So 4 straight at home, 5 really, but on the 4-game homestand. And now they've got a road trip that is, as we were talking last night, Yorkie, this is a doable road trip. Starts in Ottawa, you go into Detroit, you go into Columbus, and you finish off in Pittsburgh. There's some games in there you never in this league expect, to run the table. But there's some games in there that you feel you can have some success. And they've proven that they've played with some big teams in the Rangers and Minnesota recently. There's only been, I would say, 2 or 3 games where the Flames can say, we didn't like that at all.
Wow.
Interesting. One of those games will be tonight, Leslie. One of those will be tonight.
Whoa.
Leslie.
Wally with the pom-poms. I love it.
It's tough to type with my foam finger on all the time.
I know.
Hey, listen, we know you got to head to the rink, but you know what? This is what good guys do, right? You ask them they come on, right? You ask them to come on the pod, they come on the pod. It was like it's text. He texts back. I'm like, I come absolutely. He's on.
This is a must on the circuit. It's a must stop by. It's a must to be a part of. I loved working with Yorkie for a number of years. He was great in the room, great in the road. Just a lot of fun to do broadcasts with. So, I appreciate you guys having me.
All right. Have a good one tonight, and we will talk soon, my friend.
See you at the Cat next year.
All the best, boys.
See you, buddy. All right. The rules have been laid out. I got it. It's all under control.
You had no idea who the president of the Good Guy Network was.
No,
that's him right there.
I shook his hand today. He didn't say a word to me. I'm very disappointed.
He's just one of those guys that is great at keeping in touch. And that's the secret to being a good guy. Like last night, some of the ex-guys that used to play for Calgary's checking in on Travis Hamonic, seeing how he's doing, how's the family doing. Just little things like that. You got to go the extra, just a little extra. A little extra makes a difference.
Okay. Well, understood. I get it now. I call you all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. I tell you I need you to do stuff, but I don't ask how you're doing. But yeah. Okay, you know what? Before Sean hops on, let's take care of some business. And I want to get to Charlie's choice. So Jake, we're gonna do Charm, BEI, and Bet365 all together, unless you yell at me. So this segment proudly brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers. Proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country. Through Charm and their sister brands, get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and unbeatable pricing policy. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mined diamonds, and don't pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing on approved credit. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. Chosen forever, Charm Diamond Center.
Unfortunately, I can't sing BI because there's not a singing part to this one. So all I will say is once again to BI, our heavy civil general contracting friends, as if you need to hit them up for some equipment, rentals, aggregate topsoil, custom crushing and screening, or hot mix paving, they are the company for you. So when planning your next project, consider BI for all your aggregate supply needs. You can reach them at 613-432-1120 or on the web at bonishirexcavating.com. BI is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, and please slow down in construction zones.
And of course, Bet365, proud presenting partner of Coming in Hot. Open an account with Bet365. Bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code NATION. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Download the app today. And Yorkie, I will make this. You know what? Can we do Charlie's Choice and then make our picks? Or do you want to do our picks and then Charlie's Choice?
Let's do our picks first.
Okay. I will take the Ottawa Senators. And they will score first in this game.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to come out on fire. They have to. I think there's a lot of guys with a big burr under their saddle here, and I'm taking Ottawa as well because if they don't win, shit is going to hit the fan.
It will. There is can you put that back up for a sec, Jake? There is a bet boost of Ottawa winning, Brady Tkachuk to score a goal, and Tim Stützle with 2+ points. I think that's a very doable bet boost parlay.
Yeah, I like that one.
There was one of Brady with 4 hits, I think 4 shots and a goal. I'm like, I could probably see that one tonight, but this is the one I chose. There
you go. All right. Well, I got to see who Charlie's picking for her choice tonight. She's been all over the map. It's just, I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Without further ado, we need an opening for Charlie's Choice. I'm working on it, but here you go. Here's the pick for the day.
All right, Charlie, it's that time of day. It's time for everyone's favorite segment. It's time for Charlie's Choice. And tonight we have a good one. We have got Calgary at Ottawa. Calgary, probably one of the surprise teams in the NHL so far this year. So it's going to be no easy task for the Ottawa Senators. So I ask you this very important question. Who are you picking in tonight's game? Do you have Ottawa or do you have Calgary? Who's it going to be?
Oh,
boy. Out of nowhere, Wally.
Charlie,
not a hesitation.
Calgary Flames.
Just gobbled up that Calgary Flames cookie like there was no tomorrow. I will say, though, it took me about 5 takes to do that. So, but every time she went to the Calgary cookie, so I don't know. Maybe she knows something we don't know, but I sure hope Charlie's wrong because you know what? It's a good thing I'm leaving today. I'm getting out of town for a few days because if Ottawa loses, I don't want to be around here.
Okay, let's. Sean's waiting, so I just quickly email the show at cihsends@gmail.com. If you want to win tickets to tonight's game, tell me who scored the winning goal the last time the Ottawa Senators beat the Calgary Flames. And if you want the bobblehead, just email the show and say, I want a bobblehead. It's Thomas Chabot, by the way. We'll give out the Thomas Chabot. So cihsends@gmail.com. Now that I've wasted enough of his time, let's welcome to the show one of the happiest people I ever dealt with in my entire career while he played for the Ottawa Senators, Shawn McEachern.
What's going on, guys?
Back by popular demand. We've been getting emails nonstop ever since you last came on the show. Oh, man. Hey, I got to ask you, do you remember ever getting in these kind of losing streaks like Ottawa's in right now? You lose 5 in a row. Like you probably played on some teams where you just think it's never going to end.
Yeah, I played for the Atlanta Thrashers, so we lost quite a few in a row.
The captain.
Yeah, the worst part is you jumping on the ice, you're down 1-0, and you're jumping on the ice at the end of the game, and they score the empty netter again, and there you are, minus 27 for the year. You're getting crushed. You're like, are we ever going to get out of this? But yeah, it's tough. It's tough, right? Especially up in Canada. Nobody cared in Atlanta, but you're in Ottawa. We lose. Our first year, we lost a bunch of games, made the playoffs the last game of the season. But looking back, there was some of the funniest times, though, watching Jacques come in the room and snap Here we are, boys.
He seems
The-
very
Coast
calm.
West.
What was
what
the usual Jacques thing? I know I remember the line he'd always go to. What do you remember when Jacques would say to us after losing? We'd go on a losing streak.
The best one was when he came in after we were in what do you call it, in Anaheim, and he's like, "Here we are on the Coast West," and I was like, "That doesn't go right. It doesn't go good." But he would always talk about, "I was driving in today, and there was a guy on the roof. He was roofing. We have the best job in the world, guys. It's the best job to be an NHL player. Second best is to be a coach. You should be very appreciative." I always liked Chuck's speech.
People pay good money to watch you guys play. Good money. And he'd go to that one, and all our heads would be down. We'd be feeling shame, but we'd eventually snap out of it. The speech has worked. Wanted to ask you before we get in a little more sense. I know you're coaching this year. You're coaching a new program downtown Boston. How's your team doing?
Pretty good. It's not a new program. It's been around a long time, but I took over. This is my third year, and they had a part-time coach before. We're in a real good league, and so I'm working on bringing in recruits. I brought in a lot of guys. We had a real young team, like a lot of freshmen, sophomores, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been good.
What league are you in?
We're in the Conference of New England. So the top teams in our league right now are like Endicott and University of New England and Curry College. And so like the last few years, there's 12 teams that make the NCAA tournament for Division III hockey. 2 years ago, the top 3 teams in our league all made it. Last year, 2 teams from our league made it. So it's a very strong league.
Are you guys about to get tougher or more talented with this whole NCAA CHL rule? Like, will we see a filter down of players coming that would be D1 that may not have a spot?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a filter down. I think that like the North American League and some of these leagues where a lot of guys are waiting on D1 offers, especially towards the end of the year, they'll be available later in the season. And then there'll be guys from the lesser schools in D1 because of the filter down from the top teams to the lower teams.
You know Brady Tkachuk very well. I'm just curious, and I don't know if you've heard the nonsense that's happening up here about, well, maybe he's not the right guy. He shouldn't be the captain. I'm just curious your thoughts on what you know of Brady Tkachuk, the person. And if you were to be, I guess, on his team, what you'd be thinking right about now.
I don't know Brady Tkachuk very well. I know Keith well. I played with Keith in college, and I've met his boys when I met Brady when he was at BU, but I don't know him real well. I've always enjoyed watching him play, and I know when Ottawa drafted him, I was pretty excited because I know some people in Ottawa weren't happy with the draft pick, but he was a real good college player, and like his dad, he was a good college player, but he's a better pro. But like I know he's up in Ottawa, and he's the captain of the team. It's always tough being a captain of a Canadian team, especially when you're a younger guy too, and a team that's struggling. So I think that this kind of goes with, playing in Canada.
And they never.
Do you think it was tough for Yash to be captain?
Yeah, it never seemed to bother Yash very much.
Okay, we'll move on.
Yash didn't know. He didn't know.
Oh boy!
Was there a leader in that group? You did have like veterans like yourself, Igor Kravchuk, I know but who was the captain? Who was the leader?
Alfie. To me, Alfie was the captain. We had a great group of guys. I mean, I had 6 great years in Ottawa, and I really enjoyed playing with the guys we played with. Alfie, I don't think in the NHL like a captain, he's not the rah guy. It's the guy that plays every night, shows up, like is counted on to be like a true professional, and get out there and work, and shows up in shape and plays hard for the team. And like guy like Alfredson was always there. I mean, he played his ass off every game, and was super competitive guy. And I think it was the way Jock and the organization handled Yash was like spectacular. Obviously, after the trade to the Islanders for Chara and Spezza and all, Billy McCall. But it was they handled it well. They had an asset that like was a tremendous offensive player, but just was a little different.
So I got a surprise for you, Mark. Speaking of old teammates, I'm going to bring in right now a tremendous teammate that you might remember from years past, and he's I think he's waiting for us right now. Do we got him, Jake? Is he ready to come on?
There he
Hey,
is.
Big Mac, how are you?
What's up, Denny?
Denny, the dancing bear Vial.
Does my head fit in that screen?
Denny, hey Jake, can we get a bigger screen for Denny?
No.
He moved back. You can see he moved back, you know?
All right. So, Mac, I got to ask you this. I was talking to Denny yesterday, and he was going to come on the show tomorrow. He told me back when you were coaching at the Rivers, you're coaching a prep school.
Yeah.
Denny was also coaching a high school, and he tried to set up a game with you, but it never happened. What happened?
I don't know. I forget how we tried to set something up, didn't we, Denny?
What
No, I
happened,
remember
Denny?
calling you, and you were telling me that you had some players that were eligible for D1 getting
Yeah.
scholarships. So I said, leave those kids at home.
we had some pretty good players. Like I think when that happened, you know who we had on the team then was Cade Weber, who's signed a contract with Toronto. He's playing in for the Marlies right now. The 6'6" defenseman they have. He's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
He would have mopped Denny's team up.
Yeah,
So, Denny, you were coaching a high school team out east. What was the name of your team?
Well, it was a Horton High School. It's just a local high school team here. So our coach, he was looking at for the kids a different experience, try something.
Yeah.
So, and I knew you were coaching a high school team, Boston. So let's just see if we could set up an exhibition game or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
golf. Because you don't want to think you're going to play us.
Horton High School.
Is this the one in Wolfville?
Yep.
Okay, here's a weird. My dad went to that high school.
Oh, no way.
I have his jacket from like 55, 56, his high school jacket in my closet.
Denny can wear it on the bench.
It's a little snug.
Right, you're a Maritimer.
Yeah, from Fredericton.
Get right on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he's American. You'd never know it. He's kind of salty.
For those who don't know and are listening on a pod and can't see, this is Denny Vial, former Ottawa Senator, who has joined the show. Yorkie
All right.
failed to even try to mention that you were.
I said we got Denny probably the best nickname I think maybe in Ottawa Senators history. Denny the Dancing Bear. By the way, who named you that? Where did that name come from?
I don't know.
Probably Yorkie.
No, he was always I played junior with Denny, and he was the Dancing Bear in junior as well. So it must have came from junior. Like somebody in junior, like this is a true story. Denny and I played for the Hamilton Steelhawks. Bill LaForge, crazy coach. Mac, I've told you tons of stories. Yeah. Denny used to pick me up every single day in his little red Chevette. His head was crunched against the windshield. He had the Steve Miller band just cranking. There was no talking the whole way to the rink. Then the jaw would be clenched. We get to the rink, and all of a sudden we'd go to practice, and then everybody was calling you the Dancing Bear, but I never know where that came from. So, what's the origin?
No idea how it all started.
He's not going to share it.
It's stuck.
God, Eddie, come on. All right. Well, if you're not going to answer that question, I got to ask Mac this question. Long time ago, when we were playing for the Ottawa Senators, there was a chili incident that happened.
Yeah, there was.
Bring that up, Yorkie.
Yeah, and I want to know the details of this so-called chili incident, Mac.
I was playing for the Sens my first year there, living in Canada Lakes on Knutson Drive. Is that what it would be?
Knutson
Drive. Yeah. I had a big bull mastiff. Me and my wife, we had our first child, and I had a single teammate, unnamed teammate, and we were hanging around after practice. Hey, I made some chili at home. You want to come have lunch at my place? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll come over. And he comes over and sits down. He has some chili, and he says, "This isn't chili. It's like tomato sauce." to my wife. What? Yeah. That's the last time I had him over.
So you invite Denny over for lunch because you feel bad. He takes the taste and complains to Andrea about the chili.
Yeah, tomato sauce, he called it. Think about it, he's coming over. He comes over empty-handed. He didn't bring anything. I told Andrea today. I said I'm going to talk to Denis Vial. She goes, yeah, this guy came over and didn't like the chili, right? I said, yeah. She goes, all he brought over was a couple of hotel soaps and a couple of shampoos. All he gave us.
Okay. True story, Wally. I've told this story before. Danny, did you ever find out who did that? Because we've been talking about this a lot with the Senators today. Like the guys put huge money on the board right now. The money's so big, nobody even talks about it because the guys are making big bucks. But I remember we had a game once, and we were playing one of Denny's former teams, and everybody put money up on the board. Then somebody put Denny's name up and taped up as money 5 hotel shampoo bottles and 5 hotel soaps. Did you ever find out who that was?
No, never did. Don't know. It's all fun, though. It's all fun. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy.
Man, I'm getting picked on right now.
Oh, boy. We had to find. I think I know who it was. I think he's sitting right beside you on the podcast right now.
I remember I went over to Denny's place one time, and I was over there for some reason. I went in to go to the bathroom or something, and I look in. There's like 4 little shampoos, all the little soaps. saving a few bucks getting the little soaps, Denny. Come on, buddy.
Had to keep it.
Get a big bar of Irish Spring next
I want to
time.
go to the grocery store.
The single life.
Yes.
Were you a prankster, Denny?
No, not really.
No, eh?
No. But I had fun though. Yeah, I had fun in the locker room. I had fun with the guys.
Yeah.
Did you get pranked a lot, or did people leave you alone because you would beat their head in?
No, No, I was. It worked both ways. I mean, I was pretty good in the locker room, like having fun with guys, joking around. So, but then on the ice, it was a little different. So,
I got Danny.
That's a good way to put it.
Danny and I were talking the other day. We were, oh my God, Danny must have laughed for 20 minutes. And I mentioned this before. Danny and I played junior together. Then we end up in the minors together in Adirondack as D partners. And we had this D coach named Joe Patterson, who Joe was a great guy, but he was a former tough guy. So at the end of every game, I remember this like it was yesterday. It would be a minute left, win or lose. Joe and Denny would be deciding on which guy Denny was going to go punch out in the last minute. No, that guy's being an asshole. No, that guy's been an asshole. I'm going to get that guy right there. And this went on every single game. It was my first year in the pros. I'm like, I guess this is what it's like in pro hockey.
This is how Denny was in the locker room all the time, right here, laughing all the time. And if he wasn't laughing, nobody else was laughing.
No. Hey,
yeah, it was fun in Ottawa.
Danny, I gotta ask you, because everybody, Wally and I talk about this all the time. Drake Batherson, he's your nephew. Yeah. I talk to you about him. Great kid. He's off to a great start. How often do you get to see Drake? And like, are your families close?
Oh yeah, we are. Summertime, it is in Halifax, so we see him. We see maybe half a dozen times over the summer. So, but he's always good though. I mean, this is first place says you're always welcome to go there. So I slept there a few times over the summer. So he's there or not there, whatever. I just pop my head in there, and if not, just take off. But the odd weekend we go and spend the day there. He's got a spot in the lake.
Yeah. He's having one of his. He's been one of Ottawa's best players this year, Danny. Is there did he do anything different? I know he always goes up and he skates with Crosby and those guys up in Halifax. And I know when he started doing that, it took him another level. But this year, he seems like he's dialed in even more. Like Wally, he's been at another level for me this year.
Yeah, he's done well. I mean, granted, he's fortunate to train where he gets to trade here in Halifax. Was a couple of the best players in the league. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Yeah. So, I mean, he's he knows he's pretty fortunate, pretty lucky there. He's got great skates in the summertime here. A lot of good players. So, and it's pretty intense. So, so he's lucky that way. So he gains a lot of confidence on the ice, practicing with those guys. So, but he does work hard in the summertime.
Do you ever take him on the ice to show him how to fight?
No, they don't allow me on the ice here.
What?
No.
Oh,
Why not, Denny? What happened?
I think maybe I just love too intense.
Joe, do you remember Denny Denny used to use it was the black Sherwood. And when you were playing forward and you'd get a little head of steam going, your jaw would be clenched, you'd be stick-handling down the ice. And all of a sudden they would just open up for you like the Red Sea. It's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, the red Sherwoods. They're red Sherwoods.
Before we let you go, I know Yorkie said we'd keep you for like 10 minutes. You played a lot for Brian Murray. I'm just curious if you have any Brian Murray stories.
Brian Murray. My first day in Detroit, when I walked in the locker room, and I didn't know who Brian Murray was. They didn't know who he was. So when I thought, so I walk around, and I'm coming around. I can't remember. It was like in the hallway there, Detroit, in the rink, and I came around, and I was like, I don't know if I had a towel or something like that. I thought he was a trainer. So I'm talking to him like he's the trainer. So listen, no, I need a towel. We're gonna get my towel here.
What did Brian say?
So one of the players goes, "Yeah, he's the coach. He's not the trainer." Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Oh my god!
So no, he was. I was fortunate to play with Brian. Yeah, he was really good. Yeah, he was funny.
Do you have a favorite coach?
Not really, but I mean, Rick Bowness was good to me. No, I was pretty lucky.
Yeah.
He just, he gave me a lot of opportunities. So I always find that coaches, like for players, like if you just work hard and come to the rink and play hard and work hard, they'll always find a way to give you an opportunity, and try for you. But if you're lazy and then they'll just like, you give them an excuse and they'll just, and they'll just kind of weed you out or something like that. But I always tell everybody to work hard. So I remember Danny Elver said, he was saying one time to me, he goes, I don't really like they say I'm a great player. I don't really think I'm a good player. I just work hard. Which is he just worked hard.
Yeah.
My goal is to work harder than the other guy.
It's pretty simple, isn't it, eh? Danny, Mac, what do you do? What do you do, Mac, if you tell a player something, because kids are different now, and they give you the yeah but.
Oh, the yeah buts are awesome. It's funny, the yeah buts are my favorite. It's always like, next time I'll do it. Next time I'll do it.
Oh,
it's a different. It's a sales job now with the kids, especially in college, because now they can transfer right away and go to another school and play. I think D3 is a lot of fun because you can coach kids and they love to play. They just love the game, and it's the guys we have at Suffolk are great. They're great to coach. It's been fun.
Denny, before we let you go, when you stay over at Drake's house and you leave, do you take the shampoo bottles or not?
No, it's beer.
That's fair.
I think it's beer now.
That's fair.
Denny, you still allowed to play in the alumni events that they have up in Ottawa?
No, I don't. No, I haven't been there for a while.
Yorkie, we played one. What was that? We had one that had a draft the night before, and then they had.
Was that 20? Is that the outdoor one? 2017.
No, it was before that. Daigle was there, and a bunch of guys.
Celebrity Cup at the Sensplex there. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to play against Denny's team. He had the helmet, the leather straps. It was strapped on tight, going hard.
Yeah. Oh, going hard. Oh, yeah. I had to play one night. I was stuck with a team. I had to play 4 times in one day. My last game was against Radek Bonk. That guy, he was going 100 miles an hour. So you got to be kidding me. Bonk, holy cow. I mean,
Bonky just had hip surgery, so he's slowed down a little bit now.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know who flies around the ice now? It's the Chris Neal. He's every game. Like he's giving her out there.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
The old Nealer.
He plays for keeps.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Well, he tries all the time.
Yeah. Well, Danny, you still skate once a week though, don't you?
Well, I try. Yeah, I try to skate.
Do you ever see? I feel like you've
65 pounds.
Oh God.
Do you ever see or talk to like Rob Ray or any guys that you've had legendary battles with?
No, I saw Stu Grimson 2 years ago in event in Moncton there for a Heart and Stroke Foundation there thing.
Yeah.
So I saw him, Stu Grimson, and I saw Rob Ray in Ottawa there when he was doing color radio for Buffalo.
Yep.
I saw him in the hotel.
And how'd that meeting go?
I chatted with him for a little bit. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's kind of weird, really, when you hate a guy so much, and now you see him, and now you gotta like him.
I wonder if he felt the same way.
I don't know.
Okay. So, Danny, what was your relationship to Peter Fiorentino? Was he your cousin?
No. He's from Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this guy, Peter Fiorentino. He was a pretty tough guy, and he was around the same age as Denny, and he always played for the New York Rangers farm team Binghamton. Denny and I were at Adirondack. So we go up to play Binghamton. I'll never forget this. I see Denny and Peter the morning of the game talking and laughing. They're having a great time. And I'm like, all right, okay. They know each other, and this is awesome. They're allowed to talk to their team. Opening face-off for the game that night. Peter's a defenseman. Denny's a defenseman. Denny's gloves must get thrown 30 feet in the air. Fiorentino, the same thing, and they just charge each other and start fighting. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Do you remember that?
I remember fighting them. Yeah.
But
The problem with me in hockey was like a little Jekyll and Hyde. For some reason, I get on the ice and I don't know. I just didn't. I just played. I didn't care. You can remember my brother or whatever. I just took the fuck away from me. I'm going after you.
Hey Wally, I think we know who we could help the Ottawa Senators out on their blue line right now as far as clearing out the front of the net.
That's the type of guy I've been looking for 3 years. We need you. You're Denny before. Listen, this is what I found. This is my I don't know if you can see it. This is my dad's jacket from
oh my goodness.
The Horton Academy jacket.
Look how old that is.
Yeah, 55. Anyway, so you can have it if you ever
Holy,
you want to put that in the Hall of Fame.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Denny, didn't you come over to my house one night too when we were playing for the Sens and my mom made us dinner? It was me, you, and Redden. And something happened with the food. You said it wasn't spicy enough or something. I thought I recalled that. My mom made us this nice homemade dinner. She's like, "How's the food, boys?" And Denny's like, "I could have used a little more seasoning."
Sound like Gordon Ramsay, Hell's Kitchen now, just ripping all the cooks.
Denny's Kitchen. There we go. We got a new reality show.
So good.
Yeah, geez.
All right.
Tough crowd.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you back on again soon if we can, Denny. I have lots of questions to ask you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
all right.
Appreciate
Take
that.
care, sir.
Yeah. See you.
See you,
Sean. See you, Big Mac.
See you, buddy.
Sorry,
oh man.
You didn't know he was coming on, did you?
Oh, he's too funny.
The best laugh in hockey. Like, who has a better laugh than Denny Vial?
It is crazy because in the locker room, that's all Denny did was laugh, and then like, especially go back and look at I showed my son some YouTube videos of Denny Vial versus Rob Ray. That's like insanity. Like he was just so tough. Yeah. Great guy.
For anybody watching the pod that hasn't seen Denny fight, I highly suggest go on some of the old YouTubes and watch some of Denny's fights. He didn't get tired either. And he'd usually end up with everything off. And my God, it's just, I'll never forget though, that story I told when he used to pick me up I was so afraid of him because it was my first year junior and I'm 17 years old. And Denny's like, it was like a clown car, this little Chevette he had, and he barely squeezed into it. And he's like, he's driving, the music's blasting. But the nice thing is I'd go into his house first. We have a little muffin together as Bill gave us some snacks. Then we get in this car and then it was like, I'd start getting nervous because I Denny, and then I go to the rink. I had this crazy coach and it was just nuts. But just a heart of gold though, Mac? Just a great guy.
He's totally different off the ice than on the ice. But when I played in that alumni thing where they drafted us and stuff, like he was flying around. I was just getting the hell out of the way. I did not want to get hit with Denny's stick. He's swinging the stick as he's going up the ice. I'm like, get me out of here.
Oh my God.
So funny.
Too funny.
Do you watch much Sens hockey, by the way? Do you still keep in?
Not as much Sens. I watch the Bruins a lot. They've had a lot of news lately, so I've been watching them quite a bit. But, they had the tough start, and I don't know, it's a strange start to the season.
What happened? What happened with them? Like, how did Monty all of a sudden become a well? Obviously not. He got hired within a day. Like, what happened in Boston? What do you think happened with that team?
I don't know. Like, I thought Monty was I mean, the 2 years he had before this were just amazing. Their offense, they didn't have they had some good players, but not didn't seem like good enough players to set a record with wins and points and everything else, and then come back last year and kind of do the same thing again. And I feel like they lost to Florida twice, who might be the best team in the league, obviously, the last 2 years. They just made the playoffs that 1 year. But I feel like the whole response to how they put together a team was all about beating Florida. But you got to get to Florida first. You got to make the playoffs, And I feel like they try to get big on the back end, especially. And that first game of the season, they played Florida, and Florida is just buzzing. And Boston's back end just looked a little bit slow, Yeah.
How important do you think Big D are in today's NHL? Because I was talking about Ottawa's. Do they have a smaller group, more skilled guys? Do you think you need big guys back there?
Well, I think I read someplace the stats it's like the teams that have won the Stanley Cup the last 6-10 years all have average, was it over 6'1" defensemen, something crazy. They're all Big D. I think it's tough because you look at the playoffs and the year Boston had that great season, they play Florida, and who's the captain of Anaheim now? Oh, Czech kid, he lays up some big hits.
Oh. You're right.
Not
You know what I'm
Gudis.
talking
Not
Gudis. Gudis.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Gudis was in Florida, and they're playing. And I think he's limited skating ability, but in the playoffs, if they're going to allow him to play his game, I mean, he's like an Ulf Samuelsson out there now. He can really be disruptive, and they allowed him to play his game, and he went from being a guy that might have been a liability to a guy that Pasternak had to watch if he was getting on the ice. And I think that's so you got to know how to build a team for regular season, and the playoffs, I think, is kind of a different story.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's sorry, well, it's crazy. It's like there's the rules change. Exhibitions kind of easy. A couple young guys will fool the team and making the team. Then it gets a little harder. Then around Christmas it picks up. Less stuff starts getting called. Right before the playoffs, it ramps up again. Then playoffs, it's it's jailhouse rules. Let's go.
Yeah, it's strange because you just don't know what they're going to call, really. Especially this year, the league's been kind of crazy. They call a goal one night, and you're like, well, it seemed like the guy, I don't know, but one night it's a goal, the next night it's not a goal. I don't know. The people in the front office, it seems like a odd readings on things.
Yeah,
extremely. There was a picture I had. It wasn't allowed to use for copyright. It's a picture of you on the ice with Mary Lemieux, I think Michel Goulet and Jeremy Roenick, all three in the Hall of Fame. It made me think. Do you have any Mary Lemieux stories?
Not too many. That would have been in the that would have been in the playoffs. We won the Stanley Cup my first year, '92, and
were you supposed to be on the ice? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh wow! Wow! I joined the team. That was crazy because I joined that team after the Olympics in February, and Craig Patrick picks me up. Craig Patrick was the GM of the 1980 Olympic team. So in the U.S., I'm like, Craig Patrick, this is crazy. Takes me to my hotel room. We practice and stuff. The next day we fly to Calgary, and we have I'm going to play my first game. But before the game, that was when we went on we went on strike. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's over the the cards, the money for the cards. And I think Mario and Gretzky and those guys signed up with the PA to give the money for those cards, the likeness to the PA, and kind of get the PA going. But they have a vote, Larry Murphy was the rep, and he's like, guys, we have to take a vote who wants to go on strike. And I just got there. I'm like, strike? What are we talking about? So I'm just sitting there, look around, and guys to go on strike, and they knew all the whatever was going on with the league, and they all put their hands up. I was like, I didn't know what to do, right? And then he leaves, and now he sits down, and Craig Patrick comes in, and they're talking about the team had won the Stanley Cup the year before, and Craig's like, well, we can't, we're not playing well, we're not going to make the playoffs. We got to pick it up. What's wrong with the team? And they're like, well, Scotty Bowman. Somebody stood up and said Scotty Bowman, he's a pain in the ass. He's a pain in the ass to play for. Blah 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 blah. And so Craig said, well, I guarantee he won't be back next year if we can just get through this year. So I'm like, wow. I came from BU. I'm like, we couldn't fire the coach in the meeting. We couldn't tell the AD to fire the coach. So I played my first game. It was great. It's fun and stuff. And then a few days later, we get locked out. And I'm like, I drive home to Boston. And then like a week, I waited like a week or 10 days to drive home. I leave the hotel, I drive home, I get home. ESPN says the strike's over. I get on a flight the next day back to Pittsburgh, late for practice. And then we end up winning the Stanley Cup. And Scotty Bowman's like the nicest guy in the world after you win. He won't even talk to you before that. But that's when I was on the ice with those guys. And then the next year we come back after the summer and everything else. And we had training camp without any head coach. We had no head coach. The 2 assistant coaches ran training camp. It was like Mario would come on the ice with a towel around his neck, no helmet on, no shoulder pads, shoot the puck. And Tommy Barrasso in net. If I shot the puck at Tommy Barrasso and hit him anywhere close to his arm, he'd like fire a puck at you, pissed off. So then Mario would just get off the ice like halfway through practice when he had enough because his back was so bad. But right before the first game, Craig comes in to announce who the next head coach is, and it's Scotty Bowman. Scotty walks in behind him. But Scotty wasn't allowed on the ice during practice. He only coached games.
That's right. Yeah, you told me about that before.
The assistant coaches ran practice. The craziest place I've ever played. Like the best team of scary team. All Hall of Famers. But like it was a wild introduction to pro hockey.
So Scotty Bowman's the coach.
Yeah.
But the players insist they don't want him on the ice for practice. So he
wasn't even in the building.
Not allowed in the building.
He wasn't even there. Like he came on the ice once, I think, because there was a TV camera to do a special about him or something. So he came on the ice. So otherwise, we practiced with nobody.
Was it Barry Smith running the practices?
I don't know. It was Rick Keogh and Rick Patterson.
Yeah. And then so then for the games, Scotty would come and be the bench coach for the games.
Yeah. And it was easy. Like I could do it too. Like 66, you're up. 10, Ronnie Francis, you're up next. And it was like he was old school. Like if a guy wasn't, I would be like a third or fourth liner, and if a guy wasn't playing well, they'd spot me in there. And if I had a good shift, I get to keep playing. It was like you either play or you sit on the bench. There's no in between. You better go or you're sitting on the bench. And those guys played a lot. I mean, amazing team.
Yeah, that was Lemieux, Francis. Jagger was Jagger there yet?
Yeah, second year, third year.
Kevin Stevens, John Mullen, Barry Murphy, Paul Coffey.
Talk was there too.
Talk wasn't there anymore. Trotz was there. Brian Trottier.
Well, 91-92 team I'm listing.
Yeah, that's I wasn't on that. That was in the next year. Yeah, he was there. Those guys get traded. So Coffey, Mark Recchi, got traded. I forget who, but maybe somebody else. That was before. Mark Recchi, and then they get Tocchet, and they got somebody else. They get Tocchet for those guys.
Wow, Jeff Chikrin played one game on that team.
Jeff Chikrin.
Yeah,
what? I heard Mario's back was so bad sometimes the trainers had to tie his skates
all the time. Yeah, the guy in those like. I don't know, what are the shoe stores up in Canada? They have those things you put your foot on to the guy ties you. He used to tie his shoe for you.
Yeah.
They had one of those in the locker room, and the young kid would tie his skates every time.
Wow.
Like his back was that bad. Yeah. And that's the season. That's the season I think he had cancer. I think it was that season he had cancer. I think you can check the stats. He beat Pierre Turgeon, and he played like 65 games maybe, had cancer, and went through treatment, so missed a bunch of the season, but still won the scoring title and came back and played against Philadelphia. First game back from cancer treatment, had like hair missing from the back of his head, played in Philadelphia and got like 2-1 or something like that. It was like insane.
I remember that. He 60 games, 69 goals, 160 points.
Yeah, that was the year he might have challenged Gretzky's record for like 200 points or something like that.
Yeah,
he was crushed. I mean, crazy.
Is he the best player you ever played with?
Yeah, I play with Wayne. Like, I get traded from Pittsburgh to LA when remember Marty McSorley had the illegal stick in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then he signed the offer sheet with St. Louis, but they didn't do it. They traded him for me to Pittsburgh, and I went to LA and got to play with your friend Barry Melrose.
Oh, yeah, Barry wouldn't have liked you.
Nah, not so much. Not so much. I got there, and there's an article in the paper talking about how they traded for me, and Barry said, "Yeah, we got this 6'1", 210-pound center." I was like 5'10", 185 pounds. He just shit all over me. First time I met him, he's like, "Hey, Shawn, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey, Barry, what's going on?" And I like Barry. I see Barry after this, but he's like, "You ever play in the minors, Shawn?" I'm like, "Nah, I haven't played in the minors." He goes, "I think everybody should play in the minors."
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
But the thing is, you learn something everywhere you go, like you say, and he made you show up and work hard, like he did.
Oh my
He
God,
made
yeah.
like you better work or you're not getting anything. And I learned a lot playing from him. I didn't appreciate like some of it, but like I learned a lot. Like you show up and play for him, and got to play with Wayne Gretzky. But at the time, I think it was Wayne was still good, but like Mario was like the top of his career then. But both of them amazing, obviously.
Yorkie, let him go.
Oh, this is the stories, or you got to go, Mac?
No, we hit one story.
Well, we had AJ on the pod the other day, Andreas Johansson.
Oh yeah,
he was telling the best Jagger stories. There's so many good Jagger stories about. Like, were you there when he started to go off the rails? When they had to bring his dad in, and then they brought Kevin Constantine on to coach the team, and Jagger.
No.
Oh, okay. There was like just some. AJ just said that he went out one practice, and because when you were there, it was a total country club. Like no helmets in practice, no shoulder pads. It was basically you do whatever you want, right? As long as you want.
Yeah. But well, it was for the big boys, like the guy. I mean, we had the guys were insane. Like our first line all had 50 goals or something. It was crazy. Yeah. Like but guys kind of did what they wanted because we didn't have a head coach. I mean, like think about that. There's no head coach.
How did you?
It was insane.
How did you?
You get so out of shape if you weren't like a top player. The top players played a ton, and if you weren't, you better stay on the ice and skate a little bit, because like you weren't going to play much. It was crazy. Then I got traded with Kevin Stevens to Boston, and we met with the head coach was Steve Casper. First thing he said to me, "I just want you to know, Shawn, this isn't the PCC, Pittsburgh Country Club." Because that was the rumor. And I was like, "Yeah, Steve, I wish I was part of the PCC. That wasn't my thing, man. That was a different category of players."
You didn't get your membership. Yeah,
I didn't get that membership though. But Mario was like, he was a nice guy. He was pretty quiet, and I mean, it was like having the best seat in the house to watch him play. He just did stuff that you would just be like, "You got to be kidding me,"
In a city with the Steelers and the Pirates, I'm not sure. I think they were pretty good at that particular time.
Pirates had gone to the World Series. I think Bonilla and those guys.
Bonds and Bonilla, right? Yeah. So did you guys still kind of who ran the city? Like, were the Penguins?
Not me.
About? No, you just quietly at home making chili.
I think Kevin Stevens and those guys and Jagger was huge. He was huge back then. He didn't speak a lot of English, but he was like people loved him. But it was kind of funny because I went to the playoffs when Bonilla and Bonds was playing for the Pirates. I think Wakefield was knuckleballing for him then too.
Oh
yeah. And there was nobody at the playoff game. We're at Three River Stadium, I think. There's nobody at the playoff game. I must have been with I might have been with Jeff Chikrin and some other guys just hanging out watching. And we looked to our right, we looked down. There's this little guy, paper up at the ball game, reading a newspaper. Scotty Bowman. Scotty Bowman's just sitting there reading the newspaper, watching the game.
Oh God!
Doesn't have to do practice.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? What else are you gotta go do? Something? Go to the baseball game.
He lived in the same hotel as me. He lived in the same hotel. I'd go down the elevator with him. If I caught it in the morning, I'd be going down the elevator. Scotty would get in, wouldn't even look at me. He'd look up at me like this. Wouldn't say hi. Wouldn't say anything.
Wasn't that so weird back in the day? Like when you came in the 80s and 90s, coaches, like there was this just uncomfortableness when you saw your head coach. You'd look down and they wouldn't look at you, and it's just weird.
Especially coming from college. Like you don't know, you call your college coach or whatever, but like in the pros, like you call him Scotty or Mr. Bowman. Like
what do you call him? Yeah.
What do you call him? Yeah. I just did the old whatever. Hey,
coach.
Hey, buddy. No buddies.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, keep your phone handy. We're going to call you again soon to come on the show.
Oh, okay. Good to see you guys.
Thanks,
too.
Mac. Great talking, man. See ya. Those old Pittsburgh Penguin stories are gold.
Oh, they would probably rival the Edmonton Oilers, but that would probably be the two teams that are maybe Detroit, but there's just there's so much talent and that they like own the city. That's anyway. I got to do quickly some. I have picked a winner for the tickets. John Roberts, you have won the tickets to the game tonight. They were getting emailed to you. Just let me know if you don't get them. And Andrea Zovato, if I said that right, you get the bobblehead. I will reach out to you about the bobblehead. I think that's it, Yorkie. There's something else I know we were supposed to discuss, and now I can't for the life of me think of what it is. But
well, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk a bit more? Sky is falling. This is
back. Oh, I know what it is. Listen, I know what we all need in this time where the team is struggling to win games, and perhaps not every day is sunny. We just need a little bit more of this guy. Rorschach.
Oh, is it Rorschach Day? Rorschach. I still can't say his name.
I know. I just figured that's what we all look at the smile. We need that guy.
You know what? He'd be great on this team right now, just in the room there with that nice stash, just not saying much, sitting in the corner.
Everybody could use a little smile.
I think he's doing pretty good. He's in the KHL, right? I think he's think he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing there.
I will keep the panic button until tomorrow.
Yeah, get it handy because if they lose tonight, you might have to like activate the little glass casing that covers the panic button, and it might just start sliding open.
It's right here. It's armed and ready to go.
I think they're going to win tonight. I do. I think. Well, who knows? But I got my intuition is telling me they're going to win. They're going to win this game.
If Yorkie, if they don't win, then I fear a core piece of this group is on the way out sooner than later.
It's tough to do though. It's really tough with the cap and to fit the pieces and to get it.
That's his job. That's Steve Staios' job.
Well,
because right now it doesn't look like the group is energized enough, and I think they need a shakeup to get that done. There's no team that I have discovered or that I have covered in 25 years. That has the same attention as this one about mental toughness. I've never seen anything like it. Everybody's discussing that this team can't play when they're down a goal. They have no mental capacity.
So to answer the thing about Staios, he made a lot of changes this summer. So there was stuff done to try and fix that, especially bringing in veterans. That's why I brought those veterans in to try and change the culture, I guess I'll call it, of losing, and to have guys that weren't part of that and come in. Unfortunately, David Perron didn't play a lot because of family reasons. We talked about that. You have Cousins in there. Who got some Cousins? The thing with Cousins, he is. He's a fourth line player. So anybody that thinks he's going to come in and drastically change things with his play, that's not going to happen at this time of his career. He's there for more leadership and to, as the games get tougher, to chip in here and there, but he's not going to be a huge difference maker on the ice. To me, it's three things. Number one, goaltending's been consistent. Number two, I think the defense has to stop giving gifts and easy goals to their team, but that's defense and forwards included in that conversation. And number three, they've got to get some more secondary scoring. They've got to round it out to the lineup.
They just need to find a way to compete. They have all that stuff there. They just got to get to the net, and they don't drive to the net right now.
End of the day,
I just want to see them compete.
So if I had a little hockey board here, get to inside the dots, not outside the dots. That's how you win in the league, inside the dots.
I think they have the pieces, but if they don't, then they've got to make a change to where they can find the right setup of pieces.
Well, a change will happen if this continues. It will happen. It's tough at the beginning of the season to do a meaningful trade.
Well,
it will happen.
I bet you Boston's open for business. I bet you there's a lot of teams right now that are Anaheim's open for business. There's teams they're like, this isn't what we thought was going to happen. The Nashville Predators are open for business.
Yeah. No, I agree. Hey, listen, I agree. They have to. This little stretch has been very alarming, and you thought Philadelphia was just a hiccup, and now all of a sudden you've lost 5 in a row, and it's getting pretty touchy around here.
All solved with a big win right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Your mood can change in an awful hurry in this league. You get a win tonight, and then if you get a win tonight, it would actually be perfect timing to get on the road. Win
All right,
tonight,
yeah.
pack up, get on the road, get out to the West Coast, and get the team tightened up together. Go to a nice dinner, and then have a good road trip.
Lisa's got dinner on the table for me as I've got to get to the game. So, and you are traveling. We'll see you tomorrow in some sunshiny area. We'll wait to see what that has like. I hope you get there.
Denis was great. Eh? He didn't say much, just a lot of laughs.
Listen, we'll get him on and we'll start hammering him out for questions. He'll come through.
He'll come on tomorrow if you want him.
I thought you said he couldn't come on tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll come tomorrow too. I'll talk to him.
Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m., everybody, with a win. All right.
Enjoy the game, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.